In the world of sports, the saying, the best ability is availability, holds a lot of weight. It's a phrase that reminds us that talent means nothing if you're not on the court. But what happens when a player defies this logic? When someone, despite being sidelined time and time again and constantly being referred to as street clothes,
Call it Anthony Street Clothes Davis, because he's always in street clothes,
comes back stronger, hungrier, and more dominant than before. How does a player who's practically synonymous with the injury report still manage to make such a dominating impact on the game? Well, today, we're going to explore the paradox of Anthony Davis. Before he was dominating the NBA, Anthony Davis was already making a name for himself as one of the best young talents in basketball. Born and raised in Chicago, AD's basketball journey is a classic underdog story. Standing at just 6 feet tall as a freshman in high school, Davis was a guard who could shoot and handle the ball, but was far from being considered a top prospect. However, between his sophomore and junior years, Davis underwent a remarkable growth spurt, shooting up to 6 feet 10 inches.
My senior year, I was 6'3", and then obviously my senior year, I was 6'10".
And what made Davis unique wasn't just his newfound height, but that he retained the skills he developed as a guard. This combination of guard-like abilities in a big man's body turned Davis into a phenomenon like almost overnight. His senior year at Perspectives Charter School was nothing short of spectacular. Despite playing at a small school without a major basketball program, his talent couldn't be ignored. AD averaged 32 points, 22 rebounds, and 7 blocks per game, catching the eye of scouts and coaches across the nation. By the time he was ready for college, Davis was the #1 recruit in the country, ultimately deciding to take his talents to the University of Kentucky. Under the guidance of legendary coach John Calipari, Davis quickly became the heart and soul of the Wildcats. His impact was immediate. Davis led Kentucky to a 38-2 record and a national championship in 2012. He was a consensus first-team All-American, the Naismith College Player of the Year, and won the Most Outstanding Player award at the Final Four. What set Davis apart wasn't just his stats: 14.2 points per game, 10.4 rebounds, and 4.7 blocks per game, but his ability to dominate defensively. His shot blocking ability was unparalleled, and he anchored a defense that allowed just 60.6 points per game, the lowest in the nation. Davis' performance in college cemented his status as the top pick in the 2012 NBA draft. And the New Orleans Hornets, now the Pelicans of course, selected him first overall, setting the stage for his professional career. When Anthony Davis entered the NBA, the expectations were sky high. He was seen as the franchise savior for a New Orleans team that had recently lost Chris Paul and was in desperate need of a new star. AD's rookie season was solid, but it wasn't without its growing pains. He showed flashes of brilliance, averaging 13.5 points, 8.2 rebounds, and almost 2 blocks per game, but he also dealt with various injuries that limited him to just 64 games. The most significant of these was a stress reaction in his left ankle, an injury that would foreshadow the struggles he'd faced throughout his career. Despite the injuries, Davis' potential was undeniable. His length, athleticism, and skill set made him a nightmare for opposing teams. By the end of his rookie season, it was clear that the Pelicans had something special in AD. He finished second in Rookie of the Year voting behind only Dame Lillard and was named to the NBA All-Rookie First Team. More importantly, he showed that he could be the cornerstone of the franchise, someone the Pelicans could build around for the future. If Davis' rookie season was about potential, then his sophomore and junior seasons were about proving he could live up to it. In the 2013-2014 season, Davis took a significant leap forward. He increased his scoring average to 20.8 points per game, his rebounding to 10 a game, and led the league in blocks with almost 3 per game. He became the youngest player in NBA history to record a 30-point, 20-rebound game, and he made his first All-Star appearance at just 20 years old. But it was during the 2014-2015 season that AD truly began to establish himself as one of the NBA's elite players. He averaged 24.4 points, 10.2 rebounds, and a league-leading 2.9 blocks per game. Davis's performance that season was nothing short of spectacular. He led the Pelicans to the playoffs for the first time in his career, earning his first All-NBA first-team selection in the process. Despite being swept by the Golden State Warriors in the first round, AD made his mark, averaging 31.5 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game in the series. His Game 4 performance, where he dropped 36 points and grabbed 11 rebounds, was a reminder of just how dominant he could be when healthy. However, the shadow of injuries loomed large over AD's breakout season. He missed 14 games in 2013 and 14 more in 2014 due to a variety of ailments, including shoulder and ankle injuries. The injuries were concerning, but they didn't diminish Davis' impact when he was on the court. He was becoming a superstar, but his body was already beginning to show signs of wear and tear. If there's one narrative that has followed Anthony Davis throughout his career, it's his struggle to stay healthy. From the moment he entered the league, injuries have been a constant companion, whether it's sprained ankles, shoulder issues, back problems, or the more serious injuries like knee and Achilles issues. Davis has dealt with it all. The sheer number of injuries he sustained over his career is quite staggering. From the 2013 season throughout the 2022 season, Davis has missed over 200 regular season games due to injury. That's more than 2 full seasons worth of games. The injuries have ranged from minor to major, but they have all had an impact on his availability and consistency. The 2015 season was particularly brutal, as Davis played just 61 games before being shut down for the season with a torn labrum in his left shoulder and a knee injury that required surgery. These injuries not only ended his season, but also kept him out of the 2016 Olympics, where he was expected to be a key player for Team USA. Davis' injury woes continued in the 2016 and 2017 season, where he missed a combined 29 games due to various injuries. Now, I know that's not a lot, considering there's 164 games in between the 2 seasons and he only missed 29, but still, injuries are injuries. Despite this, he continued to perform at an elite level. When he was on the court, he averaged an even 28 points, 11.8 rebounds, and 2.2 blocks per game in the 2016-2017 season, earning his second All-NBA first-team selection. The following season was pretty similar, as he put up 28.1 points, 11.1 rebounds, and a league-leading 2.6 blocks per game. Davis's performance during the 2017-2018 season earned him his third All-NBA first-team selection and his first All-Defensive first-team selection. But the injuries remained a constant. During the 2018-2019 season, Davis was limited to just 56 games due to a combination of injuries and a trade request that led the Pelicans to reduce his playing time. The situation became so tense that Davis was booed by his own fans and wore a, quote, "That's all folks" t-shirt to the Pelicans' final game of the season, signaling the end of his time in New Orleans. The summer of 2019 marked a turning point in Anthony Davis's career. After months of speculations and trade rumors, Davis was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers in a blockbuster deal that sent Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and multiple first-round picks to the Pelicans. The trade put AD and LeBron together, creating one of the most formidable duos in the NBA. In my opinion, still the best duo in the NBA. The move to LA was seen as a fresh start for AD, a chance to finally compete for a championship and escape the frustrations of New Orleans. And for the most part, it's worked. In his first season with the Lakers, AD was a force to be reckoned with. He averaged 26 points, 9 rebounds, and almost 3 blocks per game, earning his 4th All-NBA first-team selection and finishing 2nd in Defensive Player of the Year voting. But it was in the playoffs where AD truly shined. Despite dealing with minor injuries throughout the postseason, Davis was dominant, leading the Lakers to the 2020 NBA Finals. His performance in the NBA Finals was nothing short of spectacular, as he averaged 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game, helping the Lakers capture their 17th championship. Davis's game-winning three-pointer in Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals against the Denver Nuggets became an iconic moment, cementing his place in Laker history.
Denver a foul to give. Jokic trying to disrupt Rondo. He puts it in. Here's Davis, 4-3 in the win. Oh, it's good! Anthony Davis has won it for
the 2020 championship was the pinnacle of AD's career, but the following seasons were marred by injuries once again. In the 2021 season, Davis played just 36 games due to Achilles and calf injuries. The Lakers were eliminated in the first round of the playoffs by the Phoenix Suns, with AD missing the final 2 games of the series due to a growing injury. The 2022 season wasn't much better, as Davis was limited to just 40 games due to a combination of knee and ankle injuries. The Lakers missed the playoffs entirely, leading to questions about AD's durability and long-term future with the team. But despite the injuries once again, Anthony Davis has had countless moments of brilliance throughout his career. When he's healthy, there are few players in the league who can match his impact on both ends of the floor. Let's take a look at some of the most dominant performances of AD's career. On February 21st, 2016, Davis had one of the greatest individual performances in NBA history. A game against the Detroit Pistons. AD scored a career-high 59 points and grabbed 20 rebounds, becoming the youngest player in NBA history to record a 50-20 game. He shot 24 of 34 from the field and added 4 assists and a block in the Pelicans' 111-106 victory. Davis's 59 points were the most points scored in a game that season, and his performance remains one of the most memorable in recent NBA history. As mentioned earlier, Davis' performance in the 2020 NBA playoffs was nothing short of spectacular. He led the Lakers in scoring throughout the playoffs, averaging 27.7 points per game on 51% shooting from the field. Davis was also a force on a defensive end, averaging 9 rebounds, 3 assists, almost 2 steals, and 2 blocks per game. His Game 2 buzzer beater against the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference was the defining moment of the Lakers' playoffs, and his performance in the finals against the Miami Heat was critical to the Lakers' championship run. Despite the turmoil surrounding his trade requests, Davis's performance in the 2018 season was nothing short of remarkable, averaging 25 and 12 along with 2 blocks per game, earning his 6th All-Star selection and his 4th All-NBA first-team selection. Davis also became the first player in NBA history to record a 40-point, 20-rebound game in less than 30 minutes, doing so against the Minnesota Timberwolves on November 14, 2018. His ability to dominate on both ends on the floor was on full display that season, despite the distractions off the court. Anthony Davis' career has often been compared to great big men in NBA history, particularly those who have dealt with injuries. Players like Bill Walton, Yao Ming, and even Kevin Garnett come to mind when discussing AD's place in NBA history. Bill Walton, like Davis, was a dominant force when healthy, leading the Portland Trail Blazers to an NBA championship in 1997 and winning Finals MVP. However, Walton's career was cut short by injuries and he was never able to reach his full potential. Yao Ming was another dominant big man, also saw his career derailed by injuries, retiring after just 8 seasons in the NBA. Kevin Garnett, on the other hand, managed to avoid major injuries throughout his career and is widely regarded as one of the greatest power forwards of all time. Davis' place among these players is still being determined. His talent is undeniable, but his injury history raises questions about his longevity and ability to sustain dominance over a long period. Even though this past season he was as healthy as he's ever been, as he played 76 of the 82 games along with the 5 games in the playoffs, still, he's always surrounded by the injury question. But if AD can stay healthy and continue to perform at an elite level, he has the potential to be one of the greatest big men in NBA history. After all, he's been one of the best players in the NBA. He was the best big man on Team USA's run to the gold medal this year, so maybe this is a sign of things to come. However, if the injuries continue to pile up, he could be remembered more for what could have been than what he actually achieved. Anthony Davis' career is a paradox. On one hand, he's one of the most talented and dominant players in the NBA. His combination of size, skill, and athleticism makes him a matchup nightmare for any opponent. He's a 7-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA first-team selection, and an NBA champion. When he's on the court, there are few players who can match his impact on both ends of the floor. On the other hand, Davis' career has been defined by injuries. He's missed significant time in almost every season he's played except this past season, and his durability has been a constant question mark. The injuries have undoubtedly affected his consistency and his ability to reach his full potential. But despite all the setbacks, AD has managed to rise above it all. He's proven time and time again that when he's healthy, he's one of the best players in the league, not just big men. His journey has been one of resilience, perseverance, and an unwavering belief in his abilities. And while injuries may always be a part of his story, they don't define him. What defines Anthony Davis is his talent, his impact on the game, and his ability to dominate when it matters most. So now my question goes to you. What do you think? Is Anthony Davis the most dominant, injury-prone player in NBA history? Does his constant battle with injuries overshadow his greatness? In my opinion, Anthony Davis is one of the most dominant players in the NBA. He's top 5 when healthy, and he gets a lot of slack, a lot more than certain superstars get that have missed way more time than he does. And that's the unfortunate part. Did you know there's a guy that's dropped 50 points in a game on 4 different teams, the only one to do so? He's also won a 6 Man of the Year award 3 times. Jamal Crawford, one of the greatest players ever. If you want to know how he dominated coming off the bench, just click right here.